guys, how are you? Mike here from The Wellness Bucket. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Mondays with Mike. Big time excited you guys are here and excited to get started. So let's go ahead and dive into today's episode as far as what we're talking about. This actually stems from a conversation that I had with actually several of my clients, and even a question that constantly comes up with me and I'm asked often, and it's all about goals and why there's constantly a fitness goal that's that I'm chasing, whether it's a marathon or whether it's a men's physique, whatever it may be. And the whole idea we're going to discuss today is the number one most important fitness goal there is. So that's what we're talking about today. The number one most important fitness goal that there is. And it's kind of an interesting statement because the answer is actually interesting. And the number one most important fitness goal that there is the next one. It's the next one. The next one. Like, what the hell kind of goal is that? The next one. And the reason for that is, I'm always asked, hey, how long is it going to take to get there? And it's always this idea, like, when we get there, we're done. And that's not the case. The number one most important fitness goal is the next one. What that means is the idea of constantly having one, something to constantly strive for. So if the goal is like weight loss, 40 pounds, yeah, we'll get there. But when we get there, we'll actually set a new one. And then once we hit that one, we'll set a new one. And that's why I find myself always setting goals for myself as well too, because it keeps you going. It keeps you going. You hit one, you go to the next. You hit one, you go to the next. So, why do we do that? Why should there always be a next fitness goal ready to go for you to dive into? For me to dive into, why am I running a marathon in 2 weeks? Why am I already thinking about my next goal, which is probably going to be a Spartan race or another 50 miler or another men's physique? I'm already starting to think of what my next goals will be. So why is that important? There's 3 reasons why we should always have that next fitness goal ready to go, which is the most important one. Is the next one. The number one reason is whenever we have a fitness goal, it requires motion, right? So whenever we have a fitness goal, it requires motion. Well, why is that important? Any kind of fitness goal. You're training for a flatter stomach, a six-pack, a marathon, a ultra marathon, lose weight. Motion is required. Well, motion affects our emotion. And you're probably asking, well, what the hell does that matter? What does that matter? The reason why that matters is because motion affects emotion. Motion, exercise affects emotion. How and what we think. It actually affects our happiness. Something as simple as going out and walking for 15 minutes or an exercise or a swim or a yoga session, motion affects our emotion, how and what we think, what we believe is possible. It changes us from the inside out in a good way, not just physically, but mentally as well. So that is number one. If we want to be happier, more full of energy, or just enjoying ourselves more so, we definitely have to keep motion in the mix, and having a fitness goal gives us a reason to keep going. So that's number one, is motion. Number 2 is it keeps us making progress towards a goal. And you're probably wondering, well, why is that important, right? Why is progress? Well, progress is everything. Progress equals happiness. If we're not progressing, if we're not making progress, we're not growing. And if we're not growing, we feel stagnant. We don't feel as happy. I know I do. I remember vividly when I was done my men's physique competition, that very next day, even that whole next week, I wasn't as happy as I had been, as crazy as that sounds, for the 12 weeks prior, because I wasn't making any progress. I was just at a standstill. So of course I immediately set out for that next goal. So if we are not making progress, we are not, the happiness tends to kind of fall by the wayside. So there's always that saying, right? If we're either growing or we're dying, right? So we're either growing or we're dying. So if we're not making progress towards a certain goal, if we're not progressing, we're dying, one or the other. So let's definitely have that fitness goal, something that we're progressing towards, because again, progress equals happiness. And why is that important? That feeds right into the third one, which is the biggest probably of them all, is fulfillment. I mean, this is the ultimate one here, fulfillment, right? So fulfillment. Ultimate happiness is like fulfillment, right? So that next goal, whenever we accomplish, whenever we make progress, when we actually achieve that goal, it gives us this crazy amount of fulfillment. Like, I don't know about you guys, but anytime I run something as simple as a 5K, I'm all fired up and excited about. And not so much crossing that finish line, just the whole idea of getting it done. And I know it's so cliche, but I'm going to say it anyways. They always say it's not the destination, it's the journey, and it's so true. I look at all my marathons and the training and the men's physique. It wasn't so much crossing that finish line or getting on that stage. It was actually the training, right? The journey that really fulfills me. Thinking back, I think about that. Even college, right? In grad school, it wasn't that easy to get through, but I never think back of walking across that stage and holding that diploma and being all excited. It was the journey to get there. Everything that, I went through and it took to get there. That's the fulfillment. That's what I think about. And quite frankly, that's why I don't keep any of my medals or trophies. I've won, you get several of them, as you do these competitions. Even in the men's physique competition, I believe I won two awards. I actually got rid of them just because it's not so much about the award for me. It's just about fulfillment. So that's why number 3, it's huge to have that fitness goal, because we're constantly getting this sense of fulfillment. And there's no better feeling, guys, I'm telling you. So that's the 3 reasons why the number 1 most important fitness goal is that next one, is to always have one. And if you don't have one, I suggest getting one immediately. And even if it's something as simple as, hey, I never ran before, I'm going to go out and do a 5K. Or it's like, hey, you know what, I need to lose some weight. Maybe just set that small goal, 5 pounds, whatever it may be, even if it's 50 pounds you want to lose. Just start making progress, because that's number 2, is to continuously make progress. That's going to give us definitely a sense of happiness. Progress equals happiness. And then number 3, that sense of fulfillment. Nothing like it in the world, guys. That's this week's message. I hope it helps. I hope it resonates, and I hope you do make that next fitness goal. If you don't already have one, create one. And if you already have one, finish the one you have, stay with it, finish it, and then start thinking ahead already for what that next one will be. All right? If I can help you in any way to get and achieve that fitness goal, maybe even come up with what that next one, will look like, reach out to me anytime. It's Mike@thewellnessbucket.com. You're awesome. Have a great week ahead, and until next Monday, cheers.